Today's episode, sorry to say, is going to be a bubble burster for a lot of you. Yes, I am the professional bubble burster. I am going to burst your bubble. If you really pay attention to Neville Goddard's teachings, Neville Goddard did not teach instant manifestation. Yes, he did teach that things can happen quickly or quicker than you think they're going to happen, but he did not necessarily teach instant manifestation. After watching this video, I want you guys to drill this shit in your head. I want you to drill this shit because this is something that I think so many people in the community need to understand. So many people read Neville Goddard, but they do not really comprehend Neville Goddard. People are teaching Neville Goddard, but a lot of people, in my opinion, are not teaching Neville Goddard properly. First order of business, I want to get into this comment that somebody left because for some reason, when you bring these things up, people tend to think that you're being negative. And you are not being negative, and I'm not being negative. It's your state of consciousness. It's your state of being. If you think I'm being negative, then I will be negative. No matter what comes out of my mouth, you will always look at it as negative. Just like no matter what I say, some of you will always look at it as positive. It's the observer that's observing, that's giving meaning to whatever the words are that they are hearing. But back to this comment someone recently left on one of my reels. And the comment reads like this. But wait a second, before I even read that comment, I want you guys to take a look at the video that this person commented this comment on. Even with some of the videos I put out a few weeks ago, I'm standing 10 toes down, 10 toes. I don't care who the content creator is. Bottom line, robotic affirming does not work for a lot of people the way some of these content creators are pushing it to work and can cause serious health problems. As I stated in the original video that I put out, people are literally experiencing panic attacks, having nervous breakdowns, having to go to the hospital and be put on antidepressants, as well as go to therapy amongst other issues. Autoimmune diseases is a big one. All because they tried the shiny object syndrome in order to try to get at SP back extremely quick, even though it wasn't working for them. They continue to force the issue. There are 100% other, better, more healthier ways to try to manifest a specific person or anything rather than using robotic affirming. And to be very frank with you, a lot of you aren't ready for robotic affirming. And one of the big reasons you're not is because you've gotten caught up in the gimmicks. So that was the video. Here's the comment that someone left on that video. Anyone who gives you negative information is the people who you need to stay away from. They are giving you limitations. They obviously need to learn more. Don't listen to him. Yo, before I get into my response, I want you guys to understand something. I live for this shit. I love when people come on my page and leave stupid comments like this. I love clapping back at people. That shit don't bother me one bit. So if you want to troll, guess what? I can troll right back. Here's my response. Get out of here. This ain't negative info. It's the truth. It ain't limitations. You didn't even watch the full video, let alone comprehend this clip. So was Abdullah giving Neville negative information, creating limitation when he told Neville, you can't do what I do? Because he knew Neville wasn't on that level? You need to learn more. I love how so many people come into my comment section or go into Tim's comment section before he turned his comments off, and they used to just leave the dumbest comments all because they didn't agree with something we said. This is just further proof that people don't understand manifestation. They really don't understand what Neville was saying in time frames. This isn't being negative. So no, it's not limitations when people say, oh, it's going to take longer than you think. Oh, beware of affirmations. Beware of robotic affirming. That's looking out for people. Because again, as I said, Abdullah clearly told Neville, you can't do what I do. When Neville brought Abdullah back a bunch of brandy, different things, and Abdullah was just basically having this gluttonous meal, just throwing back brandy left and right. And Neville was just looking at him in amazement. How can you do that, Abdullah? How can you eat like that? Don't you know what that's doing to you? And Abdullah told Neville, you could never eat like this. You could never do what I do. You can't drink this brandy like I drink it. You can't eat the way I eat because you have quibbles. Those were his exact words. You have quibbles. You have quibbles with food. You have quibbles with whatever. So you can't do what I do. So is that being negative? So was Neville's teacher being negative to Neville when he told Neville, you can't do this? You can't do what I do? I want you to answer that question. I'll wait. Because if you think I'm being negative, then you do 100% think Abdullah is being negative when he told Neville that. And again, this lets me know that most of y'all don't comprehend these teachings. And let me say this, it's hard for a lot of you to comprehend anything when you watch a 20-second video or a 10-second video or a 60-second video and you think you understand the context of what somebody is saying. This is the type of shit that people do in politics. They'll take a sentence that you said, or they'll take a 30-second video and they'll say, oh, look what such and such said. And then if you watch what they said before, or if you watch what they said after, you'll see it in its full context and you'll realize, oh, that's not what they meant at all. You just chose one or two sentences that they said and you tried to chop it up and paint them as the bad guy or as this evil person. And this is exactly what people do when they watch manifestation content, or they'll watch a 60-second reel or a 10-second reel on manifestation. They'll say, oh, that's wrong. Not even watching the full video, not even getting the full thing in context. This is a huge problem without doubt in the manifestation community. But this is the cause and effect, because cause and effect exist in all areas of life. This has all been birthed from people making videos about manifesting an SP back in 24 hours, hearing from them in 2 days, hearing from them in 3 days. When again, when you go to the source, Neville Goddard himself said it. He said everything has its gestation period. I've said this in multiple videos in the past. A baby takes 9 months to be born. A horse takes 12 months to be born. Again, everything has its gestation period. Stop getting caught up in, oh, this needs to happen right now. This needs to happen overnight. Now, is it good to strive for that? Yes, absolutely. But when you don't hit that mark, don't think that you suck at manifestation. If you've been at this for months, don't think you suck at manifestation. Do you know why? Because in one of Neville's books, I believe this was in The Law and the Promise, Neville gave a great story about a doctor and his wife and how they were trying to manifest building a building on their lot that they had purchased. This is one of Neville's most famous stories, in my opinion. A great manifestation story that shows you the power of 1, persisting, and number 2, not necessarily taking action like most people would take action. For those of you that don't know, there's a story in Neville's book, The Law and the Promise, about a doctor and his wife. And they had bought 2 lots, I believe, because I don't remember the story at the top of my head. So if I mess up on the detail, please forgive me, because I know those of you in the comments or people will watch this and say, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He got the story wrong, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. But the doctor and the wife had purchased 2 lots, I believe. They had already built on one building, or they had already had a building on one building, but they had always dreamt of putting an apartment building on the empty lot that was next to them. And they had this lot for like 15 years, I believe it was. So think about this. They had the lot for 15 years. 15 years passed and nothing happened. That's definitely not instant. So what I want to do is, I think is what will help is getting into the specific passage that shows how long it took. And I want to show you guys the comprehension level behind how long it took. Obviously, this is not the full story or the full chapter of the doctor and wife. This is just a part that I'm reading. So if you want to read the full, obviously, you got to read the whole chapter. One day of talking together of our building, my wife mentioned a contractor who had constructed several apartment houses in our neighborhood. We knew of him only by the name that appeared on signs adjacent to the buildings under construction. But realizing that if we were living in the end, we would not be looking for a contractor, we promptly forgot this angle, continuing these periods of daily imagining for several weeks. Several motherfucking weeks. We both felt we were now fused with our desire and had successfully been living in the end. Just in case you missed it, let me read it to you one more time. Continuing these periods of daily imagining for several weeks. Now, let's peel this back a little bit. Several weeks. Again, this is where comprehension comes into play. What is your definition of several weeks? It didn't say several days. It didn't say several hours. It said several weeks. Several to me means many. That's what several to me means. When I read this and I read between the lines and I start to comprehend what they mean, because there is no exact number. Several could be anything. Several could be 3 months. Several could be 6 months. Several could be 9 months. Bottom line, to me, when I hear the term several weeks, that lets me know that these people were imagining probably for months, at least 3 to 4 months minimum. But see, again, these are the details I pay attention to when I read Neville's teachings and when I read other people's teachings. I don't just read stuff and be like, oh, that happened instantly. Because Neville has a few examples in his books and throughout his examples where stuff never happened instantly. And this story with the doctor and his wife I just gave you was a perfect example of how even they were imagining walking through their apartment buildings empty, seeing the design, hearing people congratulate them, that type of stuff. They were doing that, but as the quote just said, several weeks. It didn't happen instantaneous, as so many people are always talking about in their videos, or as so many people in the comments say,
it should happen quickly. It shouldn't take long.
Again, yes, that is a good goal to strive for, but is that going to be the reality for most people watching this stuff? Probably not. And that's okay, because I guarantee you it still will happen faster than it would have taken you had you had not found out about law of assumption. So you're still collapsing time and space. You're just not getting it in one day. Instead of one day, it might be 6 months, which 6 months is still better than 6 years. Now, next order of business when it comes to instant manifestation. This is another comment that someone left on my video, a much more appropriate comment, not around things being instant, but around the guarantee of things happening. And this comment reads as follows: well, I don't need any instant manifestation because I'm not desperate anymore. But there is part of me which believes this will happen. I will be together with my SP, but then the circumstances I see with my eyes ruin this faith. So how do I guarantee myself that this works? And I will get this person back no matter how much delay it is. You see, these are the types of comments that I love, because people genuinely have questions and genuinely are curious and are not trying to troll and be dicks. First, I'm glad this person said they're not worried about instant manifestation anymore because they're not desperate. And that is exactly where instant manifestation comes from. It comes from people being absolutely desperate to get whatever it is that they need, whether it be a person, whether it be money, and all of the above. Desperation breeds people that are obsessed with instant manifestation. I need this to happen instant. I need this person to be back by Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Christmas is right around the corner. The holidays are here.
I need this to happen by then.
Guess what? That desperation is a different energy. It's a different frequency. That panicking is a different frequency. The fact that you need something to be instant is a different frequency. It lets you know that you're out of alignment, because if you were in alignment, you wouldn't feel desperation. You wouldn't be panicking. But a little criticism from this person that asked the question. They said, how will I guarantee that this will work? And my response to him was short, but spot on. Your statement has doubt. You said, how can I guarantee myself that this works? That's separation. You're still thinking about the wrong thing. What I mean by that separation is you're still separated from your desire when you're asking questions like, how can I guarantee that it will work? When people ask me questions like this, because people always ask us questions like this, whether it's myself, whether it's Tim, how long is this going to take? When can I expect to see movement? Can I guarantee that this will work? These questions let me know that you are separated from your desire, because if you had your desire, you would not be asking these types of questions. If you were really focused on getting in alignment and in alignment, you wouldn't be worried about that. You wouldn't be worried about, oh, I need a guarantee. How can I guarantee that this is going to work? You will know it is going to work. The when it's going to work, that you don't know. You don't know if it's going to be today. You don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. You don't know if it's going to be next week, next month. But when you truly get to a certain place in your manifestation journey, you will start to realize that everything is working out for your greater good. And you will no longer be focused on how or guaranteeing that something is going to happen, because you know everything is happening for you right now in perfect ways. The way that you can guarantee something is going to happen faster, sooner, is the more conviction, the more in alignment you become with knowing you are God, knowing that it's all about you, knowing that you are the creator. When you put the focus on yourself and take the focus off of your person. Because when people ask questions like this, that lets me know you're still focused on your person. You're still worried about getting the end result, whether the end result is a person, money, job, etc. And that is, like I said earlier, separation. The reason I guarantee things will happen in my life is because I don't worry about said thing. I'm not worried about the job. I'm not worried about the money. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I know that all of that stuff is a reflection of me and my convictions about what the present is and what the future will be. I have such a strong conviction in myself. That is how I know all of this stuff is going to be guaranteed in my life. That's how I know my manifestations are guaranteed in the work that I do, in my mindset, in my ability to feel it real and believe it real. That's where my guarantee comes from. My guarantee doesn't come from outside of myself, and neither should yours. And that's the problem that a lot of you guys have, is your guarantee is you're looking outside of yourself for guarantees instead of looking inside of yourself. And as the Bible says, and as Neville would probably say to you if he were alive today, the kingdom of heaven is within.